that'll be the starting point for this year's team.
Let's go, Calhoun.
Hey, Frank. Um, kind of a niche question here, but you talked about sort of wanting to see Dennis and LeBron play together. What have you kind of seen of the balance of each of those guys kind of being able to work off each other so far in practice and throughout the preseason? What are your goals to kind of see from that combination and use them in different ways?
No, that's a huge part of this year's plan is to have Dennis out there with LeBron, alleviating some of the pressure, but also his ability to play off the ball. That's what we love about him. They're going to see heavy minutes throughout the course of the year this year. We haven't seen a ton of it yet in practice because most of our practice so far has been sort of like drill work more than live action, or 4-on-4s or things like that. But that combination is going to be one that we envision being a great one for us this year.
Dave McMenamin.
Frank, from the shortened off season that followed you guys playing in the finals, you guys starting off last year going to China, you guys having the coaching staff be a part of the All-Star weekend. Will you try to do things this season to bake in some time for your players to be able to get away, maybe cancel a practice here or there, or do things of that nature just to try to keep your guys fresh, considering so many of them and your coaching staff had such a long year last year?
We try to do that on a normal year. I guess because of the short off season and the nature of the way last season played out, we'll be mindful of that. But we try to do a good job, all throughout a regular season, or I should say a normal season, of making sure our guys have those types of opportunities and that they're staying fresh. We do enough work, to improve every day without mentally fatiguing them or physically fatiguing them. And I think it'll be similar to our approach in the past with slightly different circumstances.
Bill Oram.
Hey, Frank, kind of a niche question here, but I'm just wondering, have you and LeBron started having conversations?
Bill, what's a niche question? I don't understand what you mean.
It's like a niche question.
Hey, no making fun of each other. We all need to get along on this call here.
I mean, I'm doing my best to not have fun on these Zoom calls that we're going to have 900 of this season.
I'm just messing.
Make it as boring as possible. But I am wondering if you and LeBron have started having conversations yet about his load early on and how much you guys are going to lean on him early, knowing it's a long season, knowing that you now have him for 3 years through his 20th season, like how that all might factor into those decisions.
Yeah, we have had sort of preliminary conversations about that, and we're both sort of the mindset, like, let's just see how it plays out, and evaluate each day, each week, how he's feeling, and not lock into any set plan, but to have a sort of a normal build up of getting his legs back under him, get him used to playing live basketball again, and just evaluate where he's at, on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis before we make those decisions about the management plan of how much he's going to participate early in the season versus late in the season, all those types of things. It's really just kind of be a day-to-day approach.
Dan Weiking.
I'm trying to gather myself after Bill just looks so proud of himself, doesn't he? I think just a housekeeping question. Did you guys have any new absentees or any returnees to practice today?
Same group as yesterday.
Okay. And then secondly, kind of along the lines of what Bill was asking, LeBron's defensive buy-in last year was, and his intensity on that side of the ball was such an important part of your guys' identity, really from day one in the season. If you guys are scaling back and stuff like that, are you going to have to find that sort of imprint elsewhere, or do you still expect him to kind of be that guy on defense that last year?
No, I still expect to see, that contribution from LeBron. I don't think he would have it any other way. I mean, everything I've seen from him in my experience coaching him with the LA Lakers is that his IQ is second to none with defensive coverages and rotations and what has to happen to execute at a high level on that side of the ball. And, his effort piece has been along the same lines. There's a high care factor there. And, I would expect that to be the same this year.
Chris McGee.
Hey, Coach.
What's up?
How you doing? Tough to follow Dan, who looks so relaxed on his couch. But
You're doing a great job, though,
my
Geeter.
question, it's really just a basketball question. Integrating kind of the new pieces to an already implemented system, and then the challenges that you guys face as a staff to kind of curtail to those guys like a Marc Gasol, right? He's going to play a little different than JaVale and Dwight. So if you can speak to kind of those challenges, and maybe the challenges aren't the right word, but excitement for a staff to do that.
Yeah, we've got several players on our team that give us a different dynamic. And, I think the coach's job in any sport is to make slight adjustments and tailor your scheme and your system based on your personnel. And we'll do the same type of thing with these guys. And, I've just been really impressed, not only with the professionalism of our new guys, but the different skill sets that they bring to the table with Mark's passing at the top of the key and three-point shooting at the big position. Trez's ability to finish on rolls and to post basically anybody he wants to and be effective. Wes Matthews' ability to make plays both off the bounce and in catch and shoot situations, and his defense. And obviously Dennis's speed is just something that very few teams possess. That type of weapon offensively, and to be honest, I'm almost more excited about his defensive speed, because the containment piece in this league, that makes it so hard to help without giving up threes. I think that's going to be a huge factor for our team as well. So we are excited and enjoying the process of seeing how these slightly different skill sets fit into this year's team and how we'll be slightly different.
Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, Coach, back to the LeBron load management issue. Isn't it more important to keep this team healthy for the spring than anything that happens in the regular season, given the fact that you're a veteran team and, the home court advantage is not as important and all that?
Yeah, there's no doubt. The goal of every year, but I think in particular this year, is to make sure we're healthy and whole going into the playoffs. And that's not to say that we're going to take the regular season lightly in any way. I mean, the guys that are on the floor are going to compete and try to recreate the identity of playing harder than our opponent every night. But our goal is definitely to make sure that we're healthy come playoff time, for sure.
Thank you.
Just a few more here. We'll take Melissa Rowland.
Hey, first of all, I was just wondering, LeBron told us that he felt sore as hell. How did he look today? And then I was also wondering, is LeBron a guy that you have to kind of protect from himself, or does he kind of step up and say, I need a break? Or is he one of those guys who you have to say, I need to take him out because he's just going to play through everything?
I think he does a good job of self-regulating what the right amount of work is for practice this time of year, throughout the regular season. I made a joke with him last year that he basically should be retired from practice because of his tenure and his years and all that stuff. And we're always going to follow his lead with how he's feeling. We have to pull him back more than ask him to work, for sure. And it's just part of him. He wants to do enough to stay in rhythm, so he can be effective on the floor without overdoing it. And I think he has a good balance and a good feel for that.
And then, if I may, how does he look, or how does he look today?
He looks great. He's moving well. Look, he's the best player in the world. So like everybody, we're you know, we're coming off of an off season where we're not playing pickup games leading into this. And, you know, so everybody's got, you know, just some things that they're working out and getting themselves, you know, back in shape and getting their legs under them. It looks good.
Brian Kamenetsky.
Hey, Frank, kind of to go back to what Mike asked you at the beginning, when you talk about principles, like defensively or even offensively, and the strategies that go along with it, is there a difference between the principles and the strategy? And then if there is, how long does it take to figure out what those strategies need to be with the personnel to be able to match the principles?
Well, I think all that stuff evolves throughout the course of the year. The principles of a great defense, you know, they really don't change very much. I mean, I think we've made some adjustments to those principles based on, you know, how the league has changed their style of play over the last 5 years or so in the three-point shooting era. You know, the strategies come into play like every year. You measure what you know, what your roster, your current players' strengths and weaknesses are on that side of the floor, and you know, again, you tailor it to things that they can do well and put them in position to succeed. So that stuff will all evolve throughout the course of the season.
Thanks.
Last question, Jordan Richard.
Hi, Coach. Can you just talk a little bit about Taylor Horton-Tucker's development? You know, I know he's just turned 20 a few days ago. Can you just talk about what the preseason and season are going to mean for him and just his maturity level to be on a team, championship team at so young of an age and be the youngest on the team?
Well, I would say he continues to impress. You know, I mean, the young man has a great attitude, a great spirit, comes to work every day with humility, and, you know, he just goes out there and kicks people's butts. I mean, quite frankly, he's just he's a heck of a talent. He's had a great 2 days here. I'm coaching him harder than you know, the rest of the players.